Hey fellow rockstars, Dr. Dan here, and in this video I'm going to talk to you about two of my favorite tools that I use to keep myself organized. As you guys know, I've got serious ADHD, attention dialed into a higher dimension, so I am constantly being distracted, and this helps me stay on task, focused, and also keeps my notes and everything organized, so I don't have to like dig through emails and look through, my files and stuff like that. So, or, put it in notebooks and spiral notepads or spiral notebooks and notepads and sticky notes, and then have to search for everything that I, wrote down. And I'm just like, where did I put that note? So this really helps me. And the best part is I can access all this from my phone, from my iPhone, from my iPad, from my laptops, because it's all in the cloud. So I never lose it, which is awesome. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna talk to you about is Trello. So just go to Trello.com. This is a free tool. I love it. I've been experimenting with this in my other favorite tool, which is called Evernote. So my two favorite tools that I use them in combination. I've been experimenting. So some of the stuff in here is kind of old in here that I don't use anymore because I figured it is still easier to use in Evernote. So I've been kind of trying to figure out what I liked better in each service or each tool or service. And what I love about Trello is doing my daily tasks. I love putting them in there. So I'm going to show you just a quick example how to use it. So once you're in Trello, you just select the little plus sign right here, and you can either create a new board or new organization. Now, an organization would be, from what I understand, an organization would be if I want to do a project management kind of thing with let's say my partner Ben, or one of our other partners that we're working with, or something like that, then we might do an organization. We have a couple of those set up as well. As a matter of fact, this is just my board right here. So these are the boards that I don't share. And then this board right here, this is the one. This is an organization. So this is me and Ben right here. So that's just the difference. So for this example, I'm just going to show you me creating a new board, and I'm going to call this one. Let's see, what are we going to call this one? Let's call this one top 3 today test. I'm just going to call it test, but it's kind of like this one right here, my top 3. Going to create it. It's on set for private already, so that's good. Now, if I wanted to add somebody, I can actually select add members, and I can add Ben or anybody else, or put their email in there, and they can sign up and be added to it as well. So you can still, make this to where they have access as well if you want to collaborate on something or something like that. But in this example, I'm just doing, this for myself. So for me, I might rename it right here. I just click on it. That's all I got to do. That's what I love about it. Just click it. And this is kind of like sticky notes on your computer, which is awesome. So this one, I'm just going to name top 3 for today. Okay. Done with that. And then this one I'm going to change to doing. I'm going to change this to carry over tomorrow. And this one I'm going to change to waiting. And you could obviously name these anything you want. Let's see, waiting, and I'm going to change this to completed. And okay, so carry over tomorrow, waiting. I'm going to actually move this. Do I want to move these? Let's see. I'll put this right here like this. Okay, so this is how I build it right here. So I've got the top 3 for today, waiting, carry over tomorrow, and then complete it. And the way I would do this is today's tasks. So today, let's say I have to write a blog post. Okay, and then let's say the other thing I got to do is I've got to call Mark about promo. Right? And then let's say call coaching students. And this is all, oh, you know what also I do too is I forgot I have on this one. I actually rename this one top 3, and I'll do biz. My bad. And then I'll actually create another one, and I'll do this top 3, and I'll call this personal. It's actually how I have mine written up right here too. And I put that right here, and whoops. And then that way I can keep it separated, and I know, okay, which one I have to do for what, right? Call coaching students. So this is my top 3. Now, I will do more if there's more things that I got to do today. I'm going to put them in there, but I'm going to keep the top 3 that I want to do today at the top. The other ones I'll just put down here lower, and then if I don't finish any of those, the additional ones, I'll just throw those over to carry over to tomorrow, okay? Or if, let's say, call Mark about promo, maybe I called Mark and he didn't answer or something like that, right? So if he didn't answer, I can actually just click in here and, whoops, my bad. I meant to click on it, not the little pencil. And then I can add either in the description or a note here. Now, I'll use the description most of the time because, you know, you can put a lot here and there's no reason for me to do it in the actual comment right there. So left message, you know, 2 p.m., right? So save that, okay? And then I might click that right there. And then if I did that, then I already called him. So I'm just going to throw him over to waiting. Look at that. So I just dragged it over and dropped it in there. And then when we're done, I can either drag this over to completed, or I can just click on the little pencil, select move, and then select completed out of that list. And then select move, and it's done. It's over here. Now this will be helpful when you start to get a lot of things that are completed, because when you to drag them over, you know, I like to keep the last thing I completed at the bottom of the list. So that's why I don't want to just carry them over as I get a lot more, you know, things that I've completed. Otherwise, you'll be throwing them in the middle of your completed task, and they'll be all out of order. So I like to keep them in order. So you can see right here. Let's see, call coaching students. Let's say I need to make a note in there. I'll do that again. You click here, and then I could even, let me see, I'll show you real, okay, so called Jim, called Martha. There you go. Okay, now I usually don't even do that right here. I'm just showing you an example of what it looks like when you've made this. And then the thing I don't like about this is why I use the description areas, because I can't click in here and edit. I actually have to select edit right here and then edit. So I like being able to just select in here and then edit the description all in one, and just I prefer to do it that way. Also, there's some shortcodes too you can learn in the tutorials here or inside Trello. And when you do, you know, when you use these kind of letters right here, or you do a little dash and all that stuff, you do that, then it'll actually create little bullets right there. And there's some other little shortcuts too. I think like if you do 2 stars or something like that, it will, I think it was 2 stars. I don't do that a lot. I'm just saying that you have that available if you want. I think it's if you do 2 stars, it's either 2, yeah, then it bolds it right there. So, so yeah, so I like that. The one thing that I do like about using when using the comments though, is if you select in here and you want to, you know, comment, make a comment or something, you could add an attachment or something like that. So if I added an attachment, it would actually show, let me see what pops up here. Okay, screenshots, quote theme draft 1. I'll just use that right there. You can see that I added this there. See, it's right here. You can actually click on it and it shows you a full screen kind of thing right there. It's actually one of our projects we're working on. And then it's also in here as well. So you can do that as well, which is pretty cool. And especially if I wanted to share this or anything like that. And then again, if it's completed, I can either drag it across, but then you got to, like, you know, remember how I explained. So press the little thing on that. So I love this tool for my daily to-do list. I love it for that. As far as project management, it's great if I'm working with somebody else and we need to, like, kind of, you know, keep in collaboration and make notes, and I can just continuously. So if this is something that we're working on right here, I can actually, you know, we can keep adding to that, you know, draft 1, draft 2, draft 3, draft 4, and make notes. And I can go in here and go, you know, oh, wow, you know, let me go right here. Loved this draft. Just add more, I don't know, line breaks. Just making something up here. Whoops, I spelled loved wrong. Load, loved. All right, love this draft. See, so I can just we could just keep going back and forth on this. And there's you can select subscribe as well. So you subscribe to it and then just make sure they do as well. And then you'll get like a little red thing here, and it should email you as well whenever they make an update to it. I've seen it kind of glitchy. I don't know if we did something wrong or whatever, but it doesn't always email me. So what I do is if I have made a change or they made a change, what I do is I just email them and say, hey, I made a change in Trello, check it out. Hey, I made a change, go check it out. So we love using it for that. So everything is in one location, and it's cool because, you can download it. You can check it out. You can delete it, whatever, you got all those options right there. So that's how I love using this the biggest. Now I tried using it for my projects as well that I'm like taking notes on and stuff. I've even tried to use it for my own workouts and things to keep track of my workout progress and stuff. I don't really like it for that because there is some limitations. Like if I go in here, I can't just I just can't copy and paste an image in here anywhere. That's one of the things. And also I don't like the fact that I can't move around, text within. I can't it's not easy for me to change stuff. So if I write out my workout here and I'm writing all this stuff here and this and this and this, it's not as easy for me to just copy and I can't just select this and try and drag it up to the top and then, cover over there. It's not as easy as it is to use in Evernote. So that's why I like to use Evernote for a lot of other things. Okay, so those are the main things that we use Trello for. So if I'm keeping track of projects or writing notes or even just dumping out, what I call brain dump, dumping out my ideas and stuff, I don't really like to use Trello for it because of that. So what I love to use is Evernote, and here is Evernote. So Evernote, and once you set it up, there's a couple things that are kind of a little weird on here, but the main things, and don't try and copy everything I wrote here because again, like I said, these are some of the things that I've been testing. And I was kind of I don't know if I like this, and so some of the stuff. So the biggest things is health and fitness. So I put my workout stuff in here. Love that. So if I select the little workout thing here, you can see that I keep track of all my workouts. What I do now is I actually keep. I used to make one for each day of the week, but it just got to be a lot. So I just use one for the entire day. Okay, so this would be Monday is day one, which is Mondays. Then we've got day two here. I know they're out of order because they're last I edited or something or when I created. So day what do we got there? No, that's wrong. Where am I at here? Created. Okay. So we've got day one, day two, day three, and day four, and the day on there. So I just write all my notes. I write out my workouts, and then they're all here. So each week I just keep adding to it until I get to the bottom right there. See? Just like that. That's the way I prefer to do it now, so I won't have to mess around with it. The cool thing though is you can do little check boxes on Evernote. That's what I love about it. So I've got my workout here. This is actually my first week, so I was going really light. But you can see I did set one, I got a little checkbox. So while I was working out, I was able to just click the little checkbox, and then, set two, same thing, make a note right here, right? Then when I was done, what I do is I just copy all this down here, the whole workout right here, and I just paste it into week two. And then I would just edit it and move the exercises around, change the weights and stuff like that. So that I was able to keep track of it that way. So that's what I love for it. You could also do one with your progress as well, like your body fat, your body weight, and all that kind of stuff. Also the workout equipment I wanted to buy, or I actually now own. Research I did on weightlifting belts. Click on here and I've got links to some belts and stuff, and I just pasted the information about it and stuff. So I can keep everything in one place. So anything that has to do with fitness or health or being active, I put in here. And then I can also separate with yoga. That's my old workout information. I just kept it there and to keep it separated so I didn't have hundreds of little entries here and get me mixed up. Then we also have mind dump. So these are the two. I'd have health and fitness. I'd have mind dump as well. So the mind dump, I could have all my stuff in here, all under one little, I forgot what they call it, a note thing, whatever, notebook. I think they call it a notebook. And yeah, so my mind dump. So if I had an idea and I'm just you know what, let me see, right here, I'm just going to select this right here, new note. And it's, something like a keyword tool. And I just might start typing things up, you know, must be able to search, you know, whatever. Must be able to, I don't even have to write must be able to, but, you know, do local comps. Okay. So, I mean, you just write all your notes in here. This is what I do. And I just mind dump it if I don't know where it's going to go right away. Okay. And then afterwards you can move it to somewhere else. But, you know, sometimes it just, you know, getting out of your head is important. So I throw it in the mind dump, and then sometimes they don't even make it out of the mind dump. Even though we had worked on the project, I just copied and pasted the information over, or I just rewrote it or whatever, you know, so sometimes I don't do that. So you got the mind dump thing right here. Projects working on. That's another one right here too. So our next projects we're working on, projects that we are working on, and so forth. And I'll make notes on those similar to that. All kinds of little things in there. Let's see, 2 Rockstar stuff. So one of our companies right here, just, you know, little notes on different ideas and different stuff as well. Let's see, product promoted. So if we've promoted a product, it would actually be in here, and I'll put in the, you know, our access. If we've got JV access, or if we purchase access, I'll put it in there. I'll put in our JV links. I'll put in the redirect links. I'll put in the information about it when it launches, their JV page. All that information will go on these, so I can keep track of everything. Let's see, what was the other thing? Promote webinars, same basic idea. I'll put all that information in there, either a replay of it, JV access, some information about it, when we're scheduled to do the webinar. I just put all those notes in there so I have them in one place. And then product access as well. Okay, so when I purchase a product, I'll actually put it in here. So the difference is, if we promote a product and we get JV access, I'm just going to keep it all in one place under products promoted, so that way I don't get confused. And then product access would be any product that we actually purchased and we never promoted. If we didn't promote it, then it doesn't go in here. But this is where I put in like the login URL, the username, the password. If they have a YouTube video explaining what it is, I like to put it in there in case, like, I'm like, what did that product do again? And just click on it, and then the sales page as well, so I can go back there. Sometimes I go as much as just you know, adding a screenshot of the actual product as well, because you can just copy and paste into here. So I might throw in a sales page if it's an image. Or sometimes I've even used Snagit, and I've actually taken a rolling screenshot of the entire sales page and then just pasted it here. So that way, I only do that if a product, I don't remember what it does, and I want to know what its limitations are and all that stuff. So I just throw it in there, so I don't have to like search and figure out, wait, what did this product do again, if I haven't used it? Because we buy a lot of stuff that we haven't actually used yet, that we're just kind of like, it looks interesting, I'm going to buy it because, you know the price is going to go up, so I might as well buy it now and then figure out what I can do with it later, right? So I can't say that you should buy all these products that I have in here showing, at least. There's a lot of them in here, but you know, these are just ones that we've purchased. Some are crappy, some are good. So, all right, cool. And let's see what else I have in here. Oh, another thing too is I love putting in here our resources as well. So I have a section, and these are called stacks actually. It's called tutorials and resources. Now, a stack is kind of like a folder, like a main folder, and then these are the subfolders, okay? I don't know why they just don't call it that way, but it's a stack, and so it's just kind of like, you know, what's within everything. So it's the main folder, and then the subfolder would be like resources, and then tutorials and how-tos. Just like with this, the stack would be 2RS stuff, and then these would all be, you know, the folders, the subfolders within it. And I'll show you how to create those, because it's not really that clear how to do that. And it's just really weird the way they do it. But anyways, so tutorials and resources. When I click on resources, these are things that, resources for me are anything that I, you know, have came across, maybe somebody shared something or something like that, or a product I checked out that I thought was really interesting. And I was thinking about purchasing that I might use later on. Now, it wouldn't be, I mean, I guess you could put in there like a product that you didn't purchase, like, you know, I probably wouldn't put internet marketing stuff or anything like that, but mainly like, for instance, a whiteboard collaboration tool. So if I'm looking for one, which I have been looking for, but I'm not using one yet, so I didn't need to buy one yet, I threw that in here in the resources. Then 4th of July, I actually, you know, wrote down some places that, or actually I just put one here, an option where to go. And I also made notes here, you know, from, because we actually went here for 4th of July this year, and I made notes of like, you know, what to remember for next year if we decide to go to the same place. Oh, you know, make sure I reserve a spot around 4 p.m., parking right in front, all that stuff, so I won't forget next time. Bring blankets, all that stuff. So this is really cool that I'm able to do this and just go back to it anytime I want. I can search for that note, just type in 4th of July or 4th and it'll pop up. Wish list, get response, or I'm sorry, wish list and GoToWebinar and their API. So I made a little note right here too. I can't click on it because if I do, then you'll see my API. But I made a note on that too. That's something that I learned how to do. And I'm like, okay, well, I might not do that for a couple months. I might forget. So I'm going to put that in here. Just some other stuff, picture editor, Square Trade warranties, Apple Care, online keygen services. Yeah, we were actually researching keygen services. I just actually pasted this text in direct from the website. And also these screenshots, like I told you, I just copy and pasted those in there too as well. So you can see how I basically did this. So that way I don't forget this stuff. I can always come back and take a look at it, and you know, even like here, let's see, color finder, pick colors from images. I put some links in here of sites that I was like, oh, you know, these are actually kind of cool. I want to be able to go back to them anytime. So I put them here. So I don't really use my bookmarks in my browsers as much as I used to, because I just put them in here, because now I could write notes and all kinds of stuff, and it's all in the same place. Okay. Then tutorials and how-tos. Now these are a little bit separate. These are more, you know, how to do things and tutorials of stuff. So let's see, compact audio player plugin. I put in the links here of how it works. Posting on Facebook, BB code, Gmail settings, Dropbox. Giving access is actually a good one. Giving access to a single S3 bucket. Now I only had to do this like once every 6 months, so I kept forgetting how to do it. So I just put all the instructions in there, so I was able to access that later. So again, there's kind of a fine line between resources and tutorial how-tos. But I basically just put resources in here, stuff that I thought looks cool and I want to access later. And then tutorials and how-tos would be stuff that I don't want to forget and remember how to do. Or things like that. So you can kind of separate it any way you want, or make them all the same. I mean, you could put them together. Tutorial and resources are together instead of separate. But you could also just click on this and it'll put them all together for you. So everything's in the same place together. So that's another way you can do it as well. I also love to put trips in here. I do like a checklist as well of like all the stuff I got to remember to bring with me on a trip. So let's see, this was one of our, this is the North Cali Easter trip. So I just like put on here, like, don't forget all this stuff right here. And then I can check stuff off, check it off, check it off, check it off, uncheck it, uncheck it, uncheck it. And I have a blank list as well right here. And I can just, so I have all my stuff that I want to remember. And I don't always bring everything. I'll just delete it if I don't bring it, but I just copy this entire page and paste it into a new note. And then I will, I'll name that, you know, trip to Orlando or trip wherever, you know, to Northern California. And then I will, you know, like just keep all the stuff that I need in there and then just check it off as I'm packing it so I don't forget. And then I'll, and then when I, you know, I'm ready to go home, I just make sure I have everything with me still. So it's really, really cool that you can do that. I'm going to go ahead and just show you an example because I don't even think I showed you. Oh, another thing too is if I'm working on a project, let's say this project is the keyword tool, right? And let's say all the things that I have to get done is I've got to create the JV page, right? Because that's what you want to kind of start with sometimes. So I'm going to just create a little checkbox right there, just like that. Now, every time I, you know, go from there to there, it's going to add a new one for me. So I can put, so create JV page, you know, post on JV boards, contact top affiliates, email JV list, install clone on domain. So these are just like some of the things that we do. So, and then I can just, select them as I go down the list. And then I can also create another little thing right here that just is completed. So that way I can separate things out because it gets to be a lot when you have a lot of stuff here. And then I can just take this, select over it, and then just drop it over. That's what I like using this opposed to the other one, using Trello for this. So I just copy or just dragged it and dropped it, or you just copy and paste it as well. And if it's checked off, then I'll just put it down here so it's not in the way of everything else I do. And a lot of these, sometimes like, especially if you're doing like a launch or something like that, or a product, you can just copy, this list and then paste it in a new one and call it blank product launch. And then every time you're doing a product launch, you'll know what you need to do and you can just check it off as you go through instead of having to create a new one every single time. And then another thing you could do as well, and sometimes like, especially when I'm doing like the workout stuff, and I want to like take notes of my workouts, then I just use this little divider right here. So every time I'm doing this, another divider. So every time it's a new day, just throw in a divider. So I use those dividers for that. And you can like go down like that as well. And then there's other options like you can numbers and all these other things. So, and there's actually plenty of other things that you can do with this. You can attach stuff and all kinds of things. So I'm not going to get into that because I haven't even really messed with it. You can change the font size. So I might, capitalize or not capitalize, but bold this right here. I might even make it bigger. If I'm doing a webinar and I write down notes, I also do that. Another thing is if I'm doing a webinar, I'll open up one of these Evernote note things and I'll start typing in notes for it as well, or things I want to talk about. So if I'm, doing an event or something like that, or a webinar, I'll put all the bullets here so that way I don't forget as well. So that's just, a way of keeping me on point. So let me show you real quick how to create a notepad, okay? Or not a notepad, but let me show you how to create stacks and all that stuff. So you're going to click on the notepad thing down here at the bottom, and then you're going to select a new notebook. And I'm going to name this, let's name this test top. Well, I'm not going to call it top. Let's say test project. Okay. And I think I could hit enter. Yeah. If I hit enter or if I just click out of there, I think it would have created it. So now it's just going to throw it somewhere in the, A to Z. It's going to put it alphabetically. So now I can just select this little sprocket here. And actually I won't. I should right mouse click. I'm sorry. You got to right mouse click. And then when you do that, actually, let me see if I can. Okay. So when you right click, let's see, add to stack. And then when you add to stack, and you know what, let me change the name of this because I'm doing my recording and it's going to be like kind of hidden from you. So I'm just going to type it 1. So that way it's over here on this side. Make this a little bigger for you. Okay. So right mouse click, add a stack, and you'll see right here that I have an option of adding to the existing stacks or create a new one, new stack. So this, is a new stack, notebook stack, and this is where you name it. You just, you just right mouse click over it and rename stack. And then I can call this, test stack. So this would be like my resource or tutorial or whatever you want to call it. So now it's a test stack, and I can actually put, so I can even rename this one if that's not what I want to call it. But when I do that, now this actually is like these right here. These are individual projects or whatever you want to put within that. Okay. Now it's not going to show up in the sidebar right here. These are actually favorites or shortcuts, they call them, I guess. So if I wanted to put it there, I don't know if you could do it from the right mouse, add stack to shortcuts. Yeah. So I just select that. And when I do that, it's going to show up here under test stack. Okay. So I can actually move it around as well. So I can move it somewhere else if I wanted to, but you can see I have that little thing right here, test project. And if I go here, I'm here, and I can select new, and whoops. And I can do, so in here, this is the test project. I'm going to rename this actually. Nope, I can do notebook settings here and then rename this. And then I'll just call this project. Whoops. call this keyword project, right? So I'm just using this as an example. So now and here's one thing that's a little weird with Evernote is, let me see if I do this, if it's gonna make a difference. Yeah, it did actually. Okay, so if I select the sync, this is actually syncing it with Evernote's, and it does this every time you open and close it. And I think it does it every now and then as well. I don't know how often, but when you close it, it'll update and keep everything synced across all your devices. So now that I've created this, I can actually just, so I'm in the keyword thing, I'm just gonna select that. And I've created a new one here, and this could be, you know, JVs, right? So that could be for JVs. New note right here. I just like to use the right mouse click. And then this could be sales page, right? So you can see that, and that way I can write notes like, you know, hey, sales page it's hosted here, you know, or notes about the sales page, you know, use video only and no copy. So these are things that we might discuss. So I'm just making notes of each one. JVs, contact in 3 weeks prior to launch. So I'm just writing notes of stuff, and I can go back here at any time and you know, go through them and stuff. And then if I wanted to, you know, create another stack within this, because this is all the keyword thing, I don't think I could do it from here. You could also collapse stacks too if I don't want to see all these, and do collapse stack. You could remove them from the so that way you don't have as much stuff here if there's like some things that you go through. Also, your most recent notes are there as well. And then if I want to add another thing inside there, I can go to notebooks, and then I go to, where was that test stack, right here. And I can create a new notebook. Is it new notebook, I think? There we go. New notebook. It's kind of weird how I do this right here. And I'll call this one Facebook marketing. Facebook, so let's call this Facebook Rockstar Creator. Just making something up right here. Now it's going to drop it here in alphabetical order. Now I can just drag and drop it over into this stack. See? Now if I want to keep things in order, so if I'm just kind of like, you know what, I want these in order, I'm going to go over here and whoops. I'm going to go to this one right here. And I could have actually changed it within that spot that I was at. But what I like to do is if one's more important than the other, or if I'm working on a project and the other one's like next after this, I can change the order by just, you know, selecting notebook settings. And I'll just number this number 1. Okay. And then I'll number this number 2. And I'll save that. And then obviously if I select that, and it didn't change it, which is pretty funny. It's funny that the last time it changed it, but it didn't. I don't know why it, you know, it doesn't do that, but if I close Evernote, and then if I reopen it, then it makes that change. So I don't know why. Now this only has to do with the shortcuts. This isn't in the actual notebook. So if you're in here, you'll see that it'll make the change right away. It's not the same thing for that. So that's pretty much how I use this. Hopefully that, you know, gave you some ideas, help you be organized as well. There's also, you know, other things you can do as well. So if like this is something you want to share with one of your, you know, people, or like sometimes if I'm doing a trip, and let's see, trips, old trips, because old trips are trips that I've already went on to. So this is a trip. Let's see, did I put that in there? Okay, so where's my, I had like a food list or something like on here somewhere. Or did I put that somewhere else? Oh, I think I might, I don't think I deleted it, but I think I kept that in the regular trips right here. Food from Veggie Grill. Let's see, San Diego trip. Okay, so I always sometimes I'll take image shots. If I'm giving this to like one of our outsourcers, or not outsourcers, but one of our assistants, I'll just say, hey, I need you to pick up this stuff from the store. So I'll either take a picture of it, or I'll just Google it on and you know, take a screenshot from that product, and then just paste it in here into Evernote. And then what I can do is I just put little checkboxes. Hey, give me 3 cups of fruit of this, you know, get me one of these, get me one of these, get me one of these, get me this if they have it at Whole Foods, get me a salad like this, and, you know, here's what I want in it, all the stuff. So I can just give it to her like this, and then all I got to do is select this little arrow thing here, and I can just copy share URL, and it'll be copied to my notepad, and then I can just paste it and or just paste it into a text message and send it to them, and then they can see it on their smartphone. So it'll just show them everything on their smartphone. As a matter of fact, let me see if, let me go new window, paste that in real quick, show you what it looks like. SD trip food, just like that, see? So I don't think they'll be able to check things off. Yeah, they won't be able to check things off, but they'll be able to see everything as they go. So just that's something you can do if you want to share a note with your partner or something, or anybody. You can do that as well. Hope that helped. I love these two tools, and this is how I use them together. Both of them are free. They do have an upgraded version. I do pay for the upgraded version with Evernote. I didn't really need it. I just got it because I figured I'd support them. It's just such an awesome service and not that expensive. So have fun with these. Be a rockstar in your business and in your life.